We're out here today at one of the hottest and newest communities here in Jacksonville. I'm about to tour this beautiful home behind me, but this one's a little different. This is one where if you're looking to make a move right this second, this could be your home. So without wasting any time, let's go through this walkthrough. I'm gonna tell you how you make this home yours today. All right, let's get this walkthrough started. Right away, you're gonna see that they did a beautiful, almost stone brick kind of paver look with the paver driveway. And this is one of those things that's a standard for this community, which I absolutely love. In addition, this elevation you can see here, they did some really nice features to kind of break up all that hardy board. So we do have some rock elements with it as well. We also have a nice covered front porch when you first come in. So you can easily put like a little seat there if you wanted to. Just a lot of options there. And then it's gonna bring us into this house. So when we come in, you're gonna see that we have a nice 8-foot door that brings into our foyer where we have 10-foot ceilings right away. So, but not only do we have 10-foot ceilings, we also have a tray ceiling in here, which gives us 11 feet of ceiling height, which makes this space feel super open and wide at an amazing size and amazing price, which we're going to talk about later on in this video. But don't forget, if you have questions about where we're at today, which floor plan this is, or what you need to do to be able to buy this one today, as this one is actually available, give me a call, a text, email, so we can go over any questions you may have and help make sure that if this is where you want to be, we make it happen. All right, from there, right here is actually gonna be your entrance to your 2-car garage. So we do have our door to our 2-car garage here. It is a very standard 2-car garage, but one thing I do want to highlight is this builder is doing water softener loops as a standard, which is really big. Sometimes you have to pay extra for that, but in this case, it's a standard, as is smooth walls as well, which, believe it or not, is not always the case. But we also have over here a little bit of a drop zone where you could do, with this, you could always you could fill it in as a closet. You can make a little mudroom area, put a little bench there for seating, take your shoes off when you come in. But you do have some options there where you can just keep it wide open the way it is as well. In addition, as you're gonna see here, the builder did a really nice luxury vinyl or laminate material for the flooring. It's a very nice, neutral, lighter brown color. Just really makes everything flow really nicely and just has a good look to it, and it feels very durable as well. Off of our entry to our 2 bedrooms and bathroom, we do have our laundry room. This one does actually come with the washer dryer included, which is not always a given as well. Then we come into our guest bathroom. Now this guest bathroom here, as you'll see when we come in, the builder actually did the tile up to the ceiling, which is not always gonna be a standard, but they did this as an included feature for this, move-in ready home that we're looking at today. It's a very simple tile choice with that large oversized tile, but by keeping it simple, it looks super clean and super sleek and very easy to maintain. In addition, we do have that same kind of sleek, simple tile for the flooring. So just a really great touch as well. And then just a quick highlight here of the cabinets and countertop. This is a quartz countertop with the upgraded cabinetry that they did also include soft close cabinets throughout the whole home as well. So I do love to see that. Over here is gonna be your AC closet, and then we're gonna come into our first of 2 well-sized guest bedrooms. So this guest bedroom, again, if you need to have an office, or again, if you have kids and you need to make this a bedroom, I can tell you it's a great size. Having that higher ceiling also just make it feel more open as well. Another thing I wanna highlight too is they did those elevated baseboards here, so that is also a nice touch to kind of go with it as well. And then finally, we do have our standard size closet, but the builder does do a good job by giving you these slider doors. And these are solid doors, so they have some weight to them, but in a good way, because then it makes it feel more luxurious. Also, I just want to highlight, if you look over there, you will see with this window and all the windows that it does have blinds. Blinds is not always a standard with some of these builders. So by seeing it on a home like this, you know that it comes with blinds automatically. But you can still even get more, which we'll dive into later on as well, so stay tuned. Again, another good sized bedroom, probably slightly smaller than the last one. We do have our standard size closet with the sliders, our single window, just like the last one as well, with that low E glass. Because when you live in Florida where it can get very, very hot, having that low E glass to keep some of that heat off of you, to allow light in but not the heat, is massive to ensure that you can enjoy inside your house, and it also keeps your utility bills on the lower side as well. And that's the beauty about new construction is a lot of times in these newer construction homes, you can keep the utility bills very manageable because of a lot of the higher ratings of materials that the builders are using nowadays. Now we're gonna get to the part of the house that I love the most, and I probably spend the most amount of my time, which is our kitchen, our dining, our living room. As you can see here, the builders actually staged this move-in ready home to really help give you an idea of how you could lay out the space and just show you in different ways on what you can do with it. But right away, as you can see, we have a nice sized dining room table here. This is a 4-seater table. You could easily probably do a 6-seater table here as well, and you're still gonna be okay for space. While simultaneously, you still also do have some nice countertop space at the island that if you wanna be able to have more of an eat-in space with this living area, you definitely can as well. And again, I love the course that they chose here. It's just a really cool pattern, super sleek, has a little bit of movement in it. I'd love to know your thoughts, if you're watching this, what do you think about this? Is this kind of the color choice you go with, or do you prefer something darker or lighter? In addition, if you want to discuss some of these finishes or discuss, this home, as I mentioned previously, call me, text me, email me, it's gonna be on the screen. Happy to help answer any questions. And another thing I do love here is this is not a standard to do this nice, large, oversized, deep sink, singular sink, but this is something that they did for this one to make it so that way you have one less thing for you have to do when you make this house yours. In addition, all the appliances are here and therefore they are included on this one. That is not always the case for all their homes. If you want to know why that's the case, call me. But with the cabinetry here, you'll see it matches the cabinetry we saw in the bathroom. Again, these are all soft close cabinets, so you can kind of slam them all you want. They're gonna easily close like that. In addition, we have our vented hood, and I do like this backsplash they chose here, this tile backsplash. It just really pairs really nicely with the cabinets and the countertops. And that's why sometimes buying a move-in ready or a quick move-in home may be better for you and your family than buying something new construction, because sometimes putting all this together in a design center isn't always the easiest thing for everyone. In addition, we have our gas stovetop because this is a gas community. And that gas stovetop, we also, along with that, will also have a gas water heater. So you will have unlimited hot water with a house like this, which is great as well. You don't ever run out of hot water once you have it. And then they did do us a favor with this microwave oven combo, which is a nice look overall. We have a fairly standard size pantry here, nothing too crazy with it. They do give us the wire racks with it, which is their standard across the board. Again, love how these doors are those 8-foot doors and those slightly heavier doors. It just gives it a very luxurious feel. Then we get to our living room here. In our living room here, they did do the recessed lighting around. Typically, you would just have the one light in the middle. So that was an upgrade that they chose for this one. As you can see, it's a good sized space, with the way that they have it laid out. This is probably the best way that you would want to lay it out. You could also flip it, but this is typically how you probably want to do it. And then it's going to take us to our backyard, which they start off with these beautiful sliding glass doors, which allow so much great natural lighting as well. So with this backyard though, as you'll see, this is a very manageable backyard, very low maintenance. You do have a gas hook up here, so if you want to do an exterior gas grill, you could. They also gave us a half wall here, which is not a standard. And this is to give you some privacy, because in a neighborhood like this, as you see with the neighbor, you have to have a metal open 4-foot fence. So the way to really get privacy is with bushes, or you can always get it too with half walls for your back porch. Now they did not screen this in, but you definitely could if you desired. It just comes down to what you'd want to do. And if you want this house, but you want it screened, don't be surprised if the builder can do that for you before you buy it. You can see here too, it's not the deepest backyard, but still room if you want to do maybe a small little pool or a play set or whatnot. But again, like I said, very manageable. And then down the road, there will be some homes on the other side of this, so you will back up to their house. But in overall, great size space and a very manageable space, especially if you're someone who doesn't want to have a huge yard to maintain, but also don't want to have to deal with townhomes that are typically 2 to 3 stories in nature. And generally, you're always sharing a wall with someone as well. But now let's check out the primary, which again is probably one of the best spaces in this house, specifically that bathroom. So stay tuned for that. All right, so now as we come into the primary, right away, you'll notice it's a good size space. They did design it with a king size bed. You have some good nightstands. You also have a nice dresser here as well, just to kind of show you how much space you really have to work with. And you do get some really good natural light. And what I like is this is a split floor plan, so you're not gonna be right next to the other bedrooms. you really do get some good privacy with this floor plan that we're in today, which I will mention the floor plan momentarily. But things that they could do with this that they didn't is you can actually do a tray ceiling in here, which I've seen before with this floor plan. This is just one where they didn't do that. And that's where when you do, that's one of the downfalls of the move-in ready or quick move-in is, yes, it's ready right now. And a lot of times what you see that price, that is the final price. So when I give you the price of this one today, that is it. If you want this one today, that is what you would pay. But some of the downsides is some of the changes, if you want something changed, may not always be possible. Now, I do like the fact that they did do here, they did a pocket door. That's just a great way to utilize the space through and through. And it brings us into our primary, which before we get to what's over here, I do want to reference, we have our water closet off to the side here, tucked away with a door, which is kind of nice. They do give us a nice double vanity here. Again, all soft close. Actually, these are not soft close, surprisingly. They'll probably end up adding at some point. Yeah, they just probably forgot to do those. But generally speaking, mostly soft close cabinets. The countertops all match, which for me, I like that uniformity. But then we get to our primary shower right here. And this primary shower is amazing. So this is a true walk-in shower. It's gonna go from side to side. This is something they joke, this is your, car wash, so to speak. You have multiple shower heads, multiple niches for your soaps and shampoos. And then what I like too is they gave us like an accent wall with this subway tile with the beveled edges. Again, up to the ceiling with our transom windows. And then they kept the side walls very sleek and simple to match the flooring here in the shower. And it's a step down, which allows all the water to kind of stay within the space as well. And then obviously they finished it off with that seamless glass enclosure, which never hurts either. Then we come to our primary closet. In this closet, it's a great size for the size of the house, good size space. As you see, we have wire racks here, but if you want to do some custom closets, you could after the fact. But in general, just definitely move-in ready. Definitely something that if you are watching this and you need to move today or tomorrow, this could be the one for you. And that's the great thing about some of these builders. Sometimes they do have ones like that in their neighborhoods, so you don't have to wait if you can't afford to wait. That's gonna wrap up the tour. Let's now talk about where we're at today, who the builder is, just why this could be the one for you, and much, much more. All right, so we are out here today at one of the communities that's getting a lot of attraction here in Northeast Florida, which is the Silverleaf community. And we're specifically in the Newbrook neighborhood within Silverleaf. Now that's the thing is when you're looking at making a move to Jacksonville, you may see Silverleaf as one of those communities, but one thing you need to know is there's many different neighborhoods within it. So find a neighborhood that fits what you and your family are looking for, whether it's the builder, the location, the size of the home, is super important. That's something that I can always help with. All you have to do is call, text, email me. So you can schedule time for us to meet through Zoom. In the description of this video, I have a link to my calendar for that. Because at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that you and your family are taken care of when you are looking at moving here to Jacksonville in Northeast Florida. But in general today, this Newbrook neighborhood, what's really cool about it is it's a gated neighborhood being built here by Toll Brothers Homes. And Toll Brothers gives you the luxury of one of two options. If you want to build, they'll build. If you don't have the time to build and you want something that's a quick move-in, ready to go home, whether if it's ready today like this one is, or if it's one that will be ready in a couple months, they do give you that option as well. And sometimes those can actually be the best deals with a builder like Toll Brothers. Because a lot of times as the home gets closer to completion, they will incentivize it even more. So that's one thing that I do like about working with some of these builders is they do give you some options depending on what your timeline is. And they can fit into anyone's timeline depending on that situation. Now, things I don't always like about some builders is like Toll Brothers, sometimes you can only do so many structural options, whereas some builders will let you do whatever you want with, for a cost. But in general, that's something that you have to kind of think about when it comes to going with a build in general. But when you're buying something like this, that doesn't matter because they've already chosen everything. What you see is what you get, which I think is a cool thing. Again, if your timeline allows for it. But as far as for this one today, this is actually their cobblestone floor plan. This is a floor plan that, if you're a first-time home buyer or if you're looking for something that's more manageable perhaps, or something that's maybe a downsize from where you're at currently, this could be a great option because it is 1,737 square feet or roughly around there. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it just flows very seamlessly. So there's really no wasted space with a floor plan like this. In addition, when it comes to this neighborhood, you do, like I said, get amenities. With being in Silverleaf, you get the Silverleaf amenities, but this one specifically here in Newbrook will actually have their own amenity center once they do finish it, as they are working on it currently. So there's a lot of benefits you get with that. And Silverleaf is a golf course community, which is or golf cart community. Let me rephrase that, which is also a cool feature as well. But now let's get to the nitty gritty, which is what you really want to know, which is, what is the price of this one we're in today? Now keep in mind, if you look at this floor plan online, it's not going to tell you this price because this is the all-in price. Some of these houses, or these floor plans, these builders, when you look at them online, don't include lot premium. They don't include structural options or design center finishes. Sometimes what you see online isn't always what you're going to end up with, and that's something I always try to, explain to people, as far as when you're looking at new construction, you have to take all that into account. But with quick move-ins, it's typically an all-in price. And in this case, they currently have this one priced at, and that could change. So again, it's always up to change, but this one's currently priced at $469,000. And there are some incentives that you have the ability of potentially getting with a builder like this. Now, in general, these incentives are always up to change, but if you use Toll Brothers for the loan, if you're doing a loan, they are offering different incentives towards rate buy downs, towards closing cost concessions, and even sometimes they may even offer some towards the price or towards other options in the house, such as like this one, if there was no fridge, washer, dryer, or blinds, that could be something else you ask for, or even epoxy garage floor. So there's things like that that you sometimes can even get when you go with a quick move-in, move-in ready home like the one we're in today. So if you have any questions, call me, text me, email me. If you want to see more amazing, beautiful model homes or floor plans here in Silverleaf, at the end of this video, there will be a spot where you can click on to check out some of these other amazing floor plans and model homes. And besides that, I will see you guys again in our next video.